Morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. My name is Luke Hayes. I'm the campaign manager for Rank the Vote NYC. We're excited to stand here today in front of an early vote site with Congressmember Ritchie Torres, Mothers on the Move, and the Bronx Chapter of the NAACP to encourage Bronx voters to take advantage of the options you have with RCV, ranked choice voting, and make sure they take advantage of this on the ballots for this special election. Just last week, voters in Queens selected their first city council member using ranked choice voting rounds. The best part, voters elected a consensus candidate who won with the majority. That's a huge improvement over our previous system. Ranked choice voting is easy to do. 95% of Queens voters found the RCV ballot simple to understand, and 75% knew about RCV before they went to the polls. Now voters in council districts 15 and 11 here in the Bronx are going to be using ranked choice voting to choose their next council member. Rank the Vote NYC is educating New Yorkers every day on ranked choice voting. Earlier this month, we held forums with candidates in council districts 11 and 15. To date, Rank the Vote NYC has held over 150 trainings across the city with campaigns, candidates, and organizations to spread the word of ranked choice voting, with more every day. RCV is a pro-voter reform. It gives voters more choices on the ballot box and has been proven to increase representation by eliminating the spoiler effect, meaning more candidates of color can run without canceling each other out. So let's go out and rank the vote. And without further ado, Congressman Ritchie Torres.
Thank you, Luke. Congressman Ritchie Torres. I have the honor of being here with the NAACP, with Mothers on the Move, and with Rank the Vote. Tomorrow is the special election for Council District 15, which I had the honor of representing for 7 years. And the special election for both Council District 11 and Council District 15, the Northwest Bronx and the Central Bronx, is going to apply a new method of voting known as ranked choice voting, which is an alternative to plurality voting. In November of 2019, 3/4 of New Yorkers voted to adopt ranked choice voting for local elections here in New York City. A few weeks ago, in the House of Representatives, I passed legislation that requires the federal government to study ranked choice voting as a possible model for federal elections. New York City has become the largest laboratory for experimenting with ranked choice voting, and I predict as New York City goes, so goes the rest of the country. Ranked choice voting makes our elections more democratic because it ensures that no candidate can win elected office without ultimately winning a majority of the votes. Under ranked choice voting, instead of choosing one candidate, you as a voter can rank up to 5 candidates. And if a candidate wins a majority of the vote, then a winner is declared. But if a candidate fails to get a majority, then there is a new vote count. The candidate with the fewest number of votes gets eliminated, and those voters whose first choice gets eliminated will have their second choices counted instead. And that process repeats itself until there are 2 candidates left, and one of them gets a majority of the vote. Ranked choice voting not only changes the way voters cast their ballots, it also changes the way candidates campaign. Instead of catering to a narrow base, candidates have an incentive to communicate with the broader electorate. Every candidate has an incentive to have the greatest possible appeal to the greatest number of voters. As a candidate myself, I know that the most powerful form of voter contact is door knocking. And if you knock on the door of a voter, and if the voter tells you that he's firmly committed to someone else, then you often move on to the next door. You often move on to the next voter. Under ranked choice voting, you still have an incentive to communicate with that voter. Because even if I cannot be your first choice, I want to be your second choice. And if I cannot be your second choice, then I want to be your third choice. Under ranked choice voting, your vote matters more than it did before. And it matters to every candidate. The vote of every voter matters to every candidate under ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting not only makes our elections more democratic, it makes them more decent. It discourages negative campaigning, if you as a candidate sling mud against your political opponents, you run the risk of alienating voters who are going to punish you with a lower ranking or no ranking at all. So you as a candidate have an incentive to campaign for yourself rather than against somewhere else. Ranked choice voting is also a cost savings, especially in a time of fiscal crisis. Under the old rules of plurality voting, if a citywide candidate failed to get more than 40% of the vote, the law required the city to hold a separate runoff election. Right? With ranked choice voting, there is no need to hold a separate, expensive runoff election because instant runoff is automatically built into ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting saves New Yorkers, New York City taxpayers, the multi-million-dollar cost of administering a new election that would likely have lower voter turnout. And then finally, ranked choice voting is a solution to the problem of a spoiler effect. Under plurality voting, you as a candidate can win an election even if the majority of the voters passionately oppose you. If the opposition to you is split by more than one candidate, by more than one spoiler, then you as a candidate can eke out a narrow win. And that to me is a problem for democracy, and that problem is solved by ranked choice voting. We know from history that the spoiler effect has long and lasting consequences. Right? A case could be made that the spoiler effect led to the election of George W. Bush in the 2000 presidential election. It led to the election of Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election. If ranked choice voting had been in effect at the federal level in those two elections, the world we live in would be radically different. So in short, ranked choice voting makes our elections more democratic, more decent, and more diverse. It empowers voters and disempowers spoilers. And it empowers voters on two levels. It enables voters to vote for more than one candidate, and it encourages candidates to communicate with every single voter. And empowering voters is what we should do in a democratic society. So thank you.
Thank you, Congressmember Torres. Next up, we have Wanda Solomon, the Executive Director for Mothers on the Move.
Thank you. Good morning. Just like the Congressman has said previously about that there's a special election in this district, District 15. I also live in District 15. It's important for our neighbors and the constituent of this neighborhood to vote tomorrow on that election, and also to vote. It's important for us to have the ranked choice voting because now we have more choices than before. So it's important for us to go out and vote and to work to make sure that we have our rights, right? Some people are trying to take that away from us, and we cannot allow that. So please go and vote, and let's keep on educating our neighbors on ranked choice voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Wanda. Next up, we have Cynthia Cox with the Bronx branch of the NAACP.
Good morning. Thank you. I so appreciate the ranked choice voting. Should have had it and voted. Well, I am a executive board of the NAACP, and the whole entire NAACP, support the ranked choice voting. We so appreciate this. I just thank God for it, because it gives the voters more influence on voting, and the voting doesn't use the RCV voting, but it gives us a chance to let everyone have a chance to vote correctly and do the right thing. So ranked choice voting, I think, is very powerful. I think it's a very powerful statement, and I have to thank Congressman about what he just shared with us, and I so appreciate it. And everybody, please go out and vote tomorrow. God bless you.